Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the CDL podcast channel. In this episode today, as you can see by the screen, we are tier ranking players based on the MW3 season. We're also going to talk quickly about the World Cup groups, but if you guys enjoy this one, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube. If you're on the audio platforms, drop a follow, drop a 5-star review. Let's jump into this one. Brock, how you doing today?
Doing good, doing pretty good. It's final Monday. Excited to get into this podcast, as you said.
Yeah, it's tier lists are always fun, and they're always I go to war in the comments,
hmm
just like people will be like, "Man, your tier list is good. I agree with most of it, but like you have this one player in A and he should be in B," and they will literally tell you like you don't know what you're talking about. It's just hilarious. It's one of my favorite things to go through. It's like, dude, we might differ in opinion on this, but people they will go to war for their players.
hmm Yep, they sure will.
I was talking with our boy Jake, uh, and like I was looking at his video, and like some of his comments are like, "You don't know COD." Like they disagree with like one player he has in a spot or something. Um,
hmm
and you and I typically this year was weird. Like I don't know, with the timing of the majors and stuff, we were having a little bit of trouble with like roster changes seemed to be like not getting announced until like they were playing matches. So we had like
Yeah.
a little difficulty like doing we usually like to do after a major, we like to do the tier ranking. We didn't get as on as good of a cadence this year with it. So that was unfortunate, but it's always funny in the comments like I remember Jake and I were talking about that too. Like sometimes like people if you like just go one player off on them, they'll be like, "You don't know what you're talking about. This is the worst list I've ever seen." And it's like, is it really the worst list? You just disagree with a couple players.
Yeah.
It's always hilarious, but I'm sure we're gonna have a war in the comments. If you guys drop your comment down below, we'd love to see what you guys think is different because I'm pretty sure you're not gonna have the same opinion fully as us. I mean, Brock and I probably aren't gonna have the same opinion on every player, and we'll just have to come to an agreement on it. But drop your comments down below. We like to see them. I'm sure lists can't be that much overall different because we all watch the same players for a whole year. I would say
Mm.
the ones that are different are like people like Nero and Attach, I feel like are going to be very polarizing because it's going to come down to what your criteria is, you know? Like Nero and Attach, individual wise, they had very good years and like their numbers were very good, but their team didn't make champs. So I feel like people that are very, very, very about whether you won or not are going to be like, those are C tier players, but like individually they were a
Mm,
lot better, you know?
yeah.
Like we'll specify what we're doing it more based off of. Um, as we get into it. But first, we're gonna start with the World Cup groups, Brock. Uh, the groups were officially announced. They were a little different, I believe, than the leak that we saw.
Yes.
Because
hmm
unless I'm tripping, we're like I swear in the leak we saw we're like FaZe and Toronto in the same group or something.
Yeah, it was like FaZe Toronto and I think another decent team with a
I want to
challenger
say it was like
team.
Surge or something. Actually, no, I think it was wrong. I think Surge were on the list twice in that league, and it actually was supposed to be Boston. But I don't know. Either way, it wasn't right.
Yeah. But
Um,
these groups make a lot more sense.
yeah, I mean, I'm assuming it's based off champ seeding because it's like, well, maybe not though, because like well, I guess maybe that's the benefit of Optic winning. Like maybe they got two teams that didn't make champs, and then like
Yeah.
for New York, they were second. They got a team that finished last, and a team that didn't make champs. And then for Toronto, who finished third, they got a team that finished fifth, sixth, and then a team that didn't make it. And then for Thieves finishing fourth, they got lucky because of no LAG. They get Atlanta FaZe,
hmm
who finished, I mean, fifth, sixth, which is a tough fifth, sixth team to draw. But then they didn't have another team to like give them from the CDL because it's uneven with LAG not being in. So they were drawing Team Falcons, who I believe is a Saudi team. Then Lore, obviously, with Arcitys. But interesting group, Brock's, or interesting groups, Brock, Jesus. What do you think? Is there like a group of death to you when you look at them?
Uh, Group of death. For me, I think had to be Optic and Vegas and Carolina because Vegas and Carolina, they're both pretty good throughout the year and can hold their own, but
Which is
kind of choked the champs
I
spot.
know it's so weird because neither of them made champs, so it sounds like insane for you to say that, but I don't think it's like crazy. I honestly like when I'm looking at them, I don't really know that I believe there's a group of death.
Yeah, but yeah, you're probably right. But if I had to pick one that's closest to it, probably that one.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, I don't think there's a world where Vegas and Carolina both come out of that group, but I don't know. Maybe Optic could just be riding the high of champs and not really trying that hard in scrims going into it.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. My initial thoughts, I probably would assume Optics gonna. I'm gonna say, well, just real quick. I don't want to talk about the World Cup groups more. We'll talk about them a lot more in depth, like maybe next week when we don't do the tier ranking. But quickly, Brock, like off the top of your head, the two teams you think are gonna come out. I'm gonna say Group A, Optic and Carolina. Group B, I think Cloud9 and Surge will get it done. Um, Group C, I'm gonna say Toronto and I don't know. I think the Stallions might come out of there. I think the FaZe Clan Black roster, they've been so good in challengers. I think maybe they'll pull off an upset.
Hmm.
Because I don't like think Heretics or Boston are world beaters by any means. And in Group D, I think that one's probably the most straightforward. I think 100T or LA Thieves if you want, and Atlanta FaZe. I think maybe Lore has like a small chance. Uh, with Arcitys, they are the challenger champs. Maybe they have a chance. But I think that group's probably the most straightforward with 100T and FaZe probably coming out.
Yeah. For me, I pick Optic, obviously, no brainer there, and I'm gonna go Vegas over Carolina,
Okay.
and then B, like you said, I think I'm gonna go Cloud9, which New York Subliners, and I'm gonna go not Boston, Minnesota to come out of the group.
Okay. And it's so weird because like yeah, you just said New York and Minnesota, but they're technically Cloud9 and G2.
Yeah, G2/Minnesota,
Yeah.
and then for the group C, Toronto and I think Heretics get it done,
Okay.
and then like I said, Group D pretty straightforward. I mean, it'd be crazy if Team Falcons and Laura and somehow ended up out of this group.
Yeah, I would say Group D is should be the most straight up and easy to predict. Like I can see any of the four teams truly coming out of Group A just because like I don't know, maybe a challenger team can mess it up with Vegas and Carolina. They've choked a lot this year.
Hmm.
Group B, like there's a world where Minnesota or like the Bance led team can maybe pull off an upset for the second spot behind New York. Group C, I mean, I assume Toronto's going to come out and um, then it's kind of a mess. Like maybe Boston improves. FaZe Black's been like the best challenger team for most of the year. They could come out. Heretics have been good like as of late. Then Group D is pretty much the most straightforward. I feel like Team Falcons. Most people are saying they're the worst team at the event. I don't know. And then Lore, I mean, they're the challenger champs, but I mean, I don't expect them to take out FaZe or 100T.
Yeah, yeah, I have to agree. Only I do think if I do think Lore has a chance if Hunter T aren't all playing like they were at champs.
That's true. And like, who knows? One of these like challenger teams or some weird team could pull off like a crazy finish at this event because it is single elim once you make it out of bracket.
Hmm.
So like eight of the teams, there's 16 teams, eight of them are eliminated off the rip out of pools, and it's an 8 team single elimination bracket. So all it takes is just like one series, you're hot, you win it, and then all of a sudden, boom, you're into the top four. And like, so we could see like a crazy team, like a Boston, a Minnesota, a Carolina, Vegas, like one of the challenger teams. We could see them pull off a top four. It like really wouldn't be that crazy. One upset in pools to make it out, and then one win in bracket, and you're top four.
Yep, that'd be crazy.
Yeah.
Hmm.
All right. That's enough World Cup talk. We'll talk about that a lot more in the coming weeks as we lead into that. Because it's kind of got roster mania on hold. So we'll talk a lot more World Cup, but want to dive into the tier list here that's on the screen. So we're gonna rank all the players, mostly that played this year, with the exception of the guys you see on the bottom. So on the bottom we have Capsidal, Cammy, Eric Boom, Journey, Pentagram, Major Maniac, and Illy. So we're not going to rank those guys we kind of went through just because they only played basically from the information you can see on the stats website. They pretty much only played like roughly one stage or less. Um, so kind of hard to rank them just based on that. I mean, everybody else played like at least like a stage and a half, 2+ stages that's on this list.
Hmm.
And most of those players, anyways, I mean, like Capsidal, Cammy, Eric Boom, Journey, Pentagram, Major Maniac, like for the most part, they all probably would be D anyways. It's
Yeah.
like they were benched after one major for a reason. Like maybe the only exception would be like Major Maniac wasn't benched; he was just brought in for the last major. Probably would be in D anyways. And then like Illy was probably like an A or a B player when he played, but he was benched so early that it's hard to say, for other reasons. But he'd be the only exception. He was probably like an A or a B player when he was playing.
Yeah. Hmm.
All right, we're just gonna go right in order down the list, Brock. Starting with Atlanta FaZe, usually the easiest team to rank because they usually have like two, maybe three S tier players, a couple A's. Like they usually don't drop much below. But starting off with a Beezy, um, I think he's an A tier player this year, Brock, which is interesting because for a long time a Beezy was pretty much you just go like this and drop him straight in S.
Yep.
But I think he's A.
A for me as well.
I think I don't know. Since this is like our end of the year tier list, I think we should try to like order them in their groups. Maybe not like exactly, but let's like try to so like if we think BZ's above somebody in A, we'll kind of order like that. How about
Yeah, I'm down.
that? Next player is Celium. I don't know, Brock. I don't know if this is a hot take, but I don't think Celium's an S. I think he's also an A, and I don't know. Would you have him above or below a BZ this year?
Mm, he does have the best KD, but it always doesn't. His, his play style doesn't translate to winning. I mean, it does because he has a lot of three godlike teammates, but he does play kind of slow and sometimes, and just kind of weird. I think a BZ has more of an impact.
BZ certainly has more of an impact. I don't know. Maybe let's put Cell ahead of him for now. I don't know. It's
It's kind of hard to tell, so I don't know.
like how much do the stats matter? How much is it kind of just empty? It is so hard to tell. You're not wrong at all there.
Yeah,
Let's throw him above him for now. I don't know. I'm not really that. I don't have that strong of an opinion on it. I do think a BZ. I mean, I'd rather have a BZ on my team. I guess. So maybe we'll throw a BZ above him because I'd rather have a BZ on my team.
yeah,
I don't know. Maybe we won't end up ranking him in the list. We'll see as we go along. Then Draza Brock. I think he's an A again. Like I think it's another A tier player.
he had a good year.
He had a really good year. I think you could make an argument that he was the second best player on FaZe this year. Like there were times where he had full takeover. I honestly would put him at the top of A for what we have in there right now,
Yeah, I like him. I was thinking the same thing.
which is crazy because that means that we're ranking Cell as the worst player. But with those three, I'm kind of just throwing them all in a clump.
Yeah,
Uh, and then that leaves our MVP of MW3 Brock. He's pretty clearly an S, correct?
agreed. Yep, I
Um,
would hope so if he won MVP.
yeah, I mean, I saw some people. There was like a thing today on Twitter. I forget who it was. I saw Optic Texas Burn reply to it, and it was like Hydra, Shotzzy, Simp, and Scrap. I think, and a lot of people are putting like Simp as the fourth best player this year out of those four. And I was like, I mean, I guess if you do include champs, like there is a world where you could say it because like Shotzzy was so unbelievable in the second half of the year. Even when Optic was struggling, Shotzzy was really good.
Hmm.
And like Scrap was amazing all year. Hydra was really, really amazing most of the year, and like especially like Major Four and Champs, Hydra was really good. So, and I don't know, I guess maybe there's a world where you could say Simp was down there, but he's just so good. He's an S tier player, there's no doubt about it.
Yep.
Then we got Ben Beans, Brock, going into the Boston camp. Obviously, like we said, a couple guys that played for Boston this year, Pentagram, Capsule, they're Major Maniac also. They're not getting ranked. They played like one stage or less, like pretty much nothing. So we're not going to rank them. They'd all probably be in D tier anyways. But we're starting off with Ben Beans, Brock.
Benjamin Beans. He had a pretty good year. He's shooting with that sorry team of Boston they had for the
No,
quite some
and
time.
I did forget, I guess, to say our criteria too. I kind of forgot to mention this, but I mean, you know what we're doing. But like, I would say our criteria is like we're mostly basing this off individual performance. So like,
Yeah.
team success does factor in. Like if you're looking at a team like Boston, it does definitely hurt them that they weren't able to win a match basically. So we're
Mm,
weighing team success like a little bit. Like it might be a little bump for a team like Optic who won two events this year as well as champs. Like might be a little bump for those players. For a team like FaZe that was consistently in like the top three all year, or Ultra or New York, like there's gonna be like a little bump to the top four teams or like teams that won a little more consistently. But we're mostly pretty much like 90% doing this on where they were completely just like individually as a player. Not as much team success related. Just kind of like I don't know, individually skill wise where they were in the game.
I would say Beans is he's a solid B.
You think? I was thinking C.
C.
Because I mean, he had a 1.01 in the year. Like there were some series where he laid absolute stinkers. Um, I don't know. Like he's definitely a shooter. I think he definitely has like B or A tier potential.
Hmm.
Like I think I think at the World Cup we might see him play at like an A or a B tier level. I don't know. I'm not like completely against B. I think he'd probably be towards the bottom of it.
Yeah.
But
We can put him C for now and
okay, let's
see
put him at
how.
the top of C, and we'll see where we go from there.
Yeah.
Then we got Priesta Brock. Unfortunately, as much as we love Priesta here on the show, I think he's probably got to be a D tier player.
Yeah, he kind of had a rough year, which not all his fault, but the whole boss team in general just had a tough year.
Yeah, I mean, he was swapping between roles and stuff. Just a weird situation. I don't think in general he's a D tier player. Obviously, he's a world champ, like won a ton of events, one of the most winningest players, still active. But just it was a tough year for Priest. This year, individually, D tier year for him.
Yeah.
Then we got our boy. Everybody knows I have a big love for him. It's Slasher. I don't think he was a D tier player. When he was playing, he was pretty good. It's tough to like rank him too high just because he was benched, whether it was right or not. But
Hmm.
I don't know. I'm thinking C.
Yeah, I'm down for C.
Like he was
Yeah,
like a straight 1.0 on the year, and he was going through it. We know with his teammates.
yeah. He was trying his best.
I think we can slot him in right. I mean, right above or below Beans. I don't know. I feel like the
Yeah,
team had a little more success. They were basically the same numbers wise. Team had a little more success. I'll just probably place him one in front of Beans. I don't know.
yeah, I'm down.
Maybe one behind. Beans was carrying an even worse team. It seemed like.
Yeah, I mean, the whole team was just worse a whole
Yeah, I
year.
mean, there's really no positives from this team.
Yeah.
Um, then we got Snoopy Brock. It wasn't a great year for him either. 0.97 on the year. Just, I mean, lots of talk about how he was potentially lost on the map.
Hmm.
I mean, do we give him C or does he go? I guess maybe I could see like bottom of C for him.
Yeah.
It's like individually, they're like, I would say like I don't know, individual like mechanical wise, you could definitely see flashes in there of like there's some skill there,
Hmm.
but I mean, really a rough year. Like I'm not opposed. I have him in the C tier right now, but if you want to put him in D tier, I'll say that's okay.
Let's do it. Let's put him in D.
Okay. I want to put him towards the top because individual wise, like there are some snappy plays in there, but yeah, I mean, rough.
He does have the talent, just the other things that was culminating from him not doing so great.
Well, and like we said, like this is pretty much all based on individual skill for the most part, but like at some point when a team is this bad, you have to like factor that a little bit when Boston was this bad.
Yeah.
All right, Brock, then we're going to Carolina. Clayster is up first. I mean, I think his spot's relatively obvious. I think he's pretty firmly like in the C tier.
Hmm. Pretty average standard.
He was very, very, very average. He wasn't like horrible this year, but he wasn't all that great. I mean, I'm gonna slot him just below, I think, Slasher and Beans.
Yeah.
Then we got Fellow Brock. I think he goes right next to his buddy Clayster.
Yeah, those two are pretty even on the year.
Both just kind of mid.
Yeah. They had their moments, but for the year, basically just mid.
Yeah, I mean, Fellow was at a 0.94, just a little bit. Let's just put Fellow one spot in front of Clay. I mean, they were pretty much interchangeable. Like, a lot of
Yeah.
these players are very interchangeable where we're putting them.
Hmm.
Then we have Gwyn. He's an interesting one, Brock. I think we're definitely, jumping up a tier from where we have been with these last six players.
Yeah.
I definitely think Gwyn's in at least B. You could make a case for A. What do you think?
When had a good start of the year, he did fall off a little bit towards the middle.
I
He
don't
is
know.
really good still, though.
He is the rookie of the year. He had a 1.07 on the year, which was ninth, tied with Nero, who was also just awesome. I
Hmm.
mean, only KDs in the league better than him this year were Celium, Scrap, Simp, Hydra, Attach, Pred. So he's really, I mean, he's tied technically for seventh, I guess, because he was the same as Draza and Nero. Um, I mean, does he go, you think, towards the bottom of A? I think he's bottom A, high B, like bottom A, top B.
Yeah,
I
let's
think
let's,
there's
let's put let's go A bottom for
okay.
now.
mean,
I'm down.
also, I think like you do have to factor in like his team situation was honestly pretty rough. Like,
Yeah.
and he was still like there was a bit there where the team was really struggling, and he was just consistently dropping numbers. There, like you said, there was a little bit of a stretch where he did struggle for a little bit, but for the most part, Gwyn was like, I mean, like we said, we're doing this off individual skill in the year and like individual play, and Gwyn at times was just absolutely taking over for this team and was literally like the sole reason they were winning series at times.
Hmm.
Yeah, I like him in the bottom of A.
Yep, I do too.
Then we got Tej Brock. I feel pretty strongly that Tej is in B.
I did. Yeah, I don't care about his KD. The eyeball test, teach, yeah, put him in B.
It's I mean, he is 0.97 on the year. Like as a more of the bait sub in front of
Y-
Gwyn, like a round of one KD. I mean, he was excellent in search. I think Tejas for sure. This was Tejas' best year in quite some time, probably since BO4.
Yeah, yep, I'd have to agree. It's had a few rough years.
Yeah, it's been some rough years for Tej. He's definitely had some years as a C or D tier player, but I mean, you and I are also maybe a little biased here. We're both big fans of Tej, but I think he's a B tier player for sure. First guy
Yep.
in B, which is kind of funny when we've been through this many.
Yeah.
Then we got Assault Brock, D tier.
D.
We're on LAG. Your boy is Diamond Con. Oh, I don't know. Like Diamond Con, early season Diamond Con, he was playing really well.
He was.
He
Then he kind
finished
of
with a
fell off.
0.99 on the year. I mean, I feel like if we did like a split of his stats, like major one and major two comparison to three and four, like there'd be a pretty significant drop off.
Hmm.
I don't know. I feel like he's teetering C and B. I'm leaning towards putting him at the top of who we have in C right now.
Yeah.
But I also like wouldn't like hate an argument if you believe he's like low B.
No, I honestly think all these LG players are that we have coming up are like C tier or
Yeah. You want to put him in the I think he goes I mean I think he goes top of who we have in C right now though.
yeah, I agree.
Then to me, it's probably the one LAG player that's in B next, Estriel.
Yeah,
I think you can put Estriel in B. I mean, he was right up there for rookie of the year. He finished second. Um,
had a pretty good year for all the struggles they had early on and stuff.
yeah, I mean, he overall, like, while the team was really struggling, he was honestly the shining star. He had a 0.97 on the year, but like you could easily see shining through when like Fame would have his up and downs, Assault, Flames, Diamond Con, all of them are having their ups and downs, and like Estriel was like the one consistent player in their team that was like, okay, this guy like definitely deserves his spot in the CDL. It just the team is struggling really badly right now.
Mhm. Yeah,
I think we'll put him below Teach though.
yeah,
My
I
opinion.
agree.
I think Teach was a better player this year. Um, then we got Fame Brock. I think he goes right behind Diamond Khan in the C tier.
Hmm. Yeah,
I mean, or we could put him behind Beans if you want.
yeah, let's do that. I think Beans is a little better.
Yeah, I actually really like Fame though. I think Fame. I don't think he's the best player, but I think he gets a lot of unnecessary hate. I think he's a
Hmm.
smart player. I think he does play some creddies a little bit. But I think overall he's a pretty smart player. I think he's pretty good at search. He has like takeover type moments where he does like randomly pop off. He also has some series where it's like, oh my god, he's not shooting back. But
Yeah.
he does have moments though where it's like, okay, Fame's got a little takeover in him. I mean, he had a 0.95 on the year, or 0.96 in the year, not like anything crazy, but as a sub player on a team that was really not that great slaying wise the whole year, I don't know. I feel like Fame is definitely not a bottom tier D player. I think he's in C.
Yeah. Fame, yeah, like I said, he had his pop off moments. Like, what was that? He had like 40 on high rise control. That I don't remember which match it was, but he had
Yeah.
pop off moments.
I mean, I want to sort the stats I have over here quick by like champs because I swear, like maybe he didn't have as good numbers. I guess they did get '06 map count, so his numbers probably aren't as good as I'm like thinking. But I mean, he had a 0.91. It was 24th out of 32, so not as good as I remember. But I feel like I remember him having good maps at champs. But overall, I mean, Fame is a solid. I feel like C tier player this year.
Yeah.
Then we got Flames Brock. I think he goes pretty firmly in one thing, but I'm kind of curious what you think.
Flame, I mean, him and his Salt were kind of basically roughly the same for the most part.
I mean, he assault 0.93, flames 0.94. I feel like they were roughly the same, but I feel like the just jump that they had in
Yeah, 'cause-
success, like that's where like this is another thing where I feel like team success does have a say in like where we put him. Like I feel like Flames did like inject something into this team. Like he had some pretty crazy clutches in like the short time he was in search.
mhm.
And I feel like he did like this team had a complete 180 when he went in. Like they were like terrible, and then they like went on a run to qualify for champs. So I think he deserves to get thrown in the bottom of C.
Yeah, I agree.
All right,
So,
Brock.
yeah,
What were you gonna say?
I said didn't have the best stats wise, but like you said, jump started the comeback of this LAG team.
And I also feel like when I was watching the two, like the difference between him and Assault, like I could clearly tell a better player got inserted into the lineup
Yeah.
when he was put in instead of Assault.
Hmm.
Brock. Then we got Afro. It's unfortunate because I'm a big fan, but I think he's got to go in the D tier. Um,
Yeah,
I'm probably gonna put him on the bottom of the D tier for now.
yeah, Afro. He's so good in Vanguard and Cold War.
Yeah, he had some moments where like when he was first up in Cold War, he looked so good, and it's been like the individual, like the mechanical skill is there. It's just like he's just not playing well.
Yeah,
You
just
can
kind
see
of
the
rough.
talent though.
Yeah,
I just wonder how many more cracks he's gonna get because he's had his fair share of chances now, and really like apart from like a like major one in Vanguard when they had a decent placement, like his teams have just been pretty bad
hmm
overall. So I wonder how many more cracks Afro is really going to have to potentially start on teams. I mean, the talent is there, so I feel like people may take shots at him because sub talent is just so dry that people
yeah,
may take a shot on him. But yeah, I think he's D tier for this year.
hmm agreed.
Then it's Ghosty Brock. I think he is pretty firmly up in the
A
A tier. Where you want to throw him? You want to throw him like right behind a BZ? You want to throw him right behind the Phase boys?
yes, do that.
Okay, I mean a B or not a BZ. Ghosty, absolutely awesome this year, especially down the stretch.
hmm
I mean, like he was good like pretty much all year, but like what did he have overall in the year? He had a 1.05, but like man, down the stretch, dude, he was unreal. Especially champs Ghosty, he was moving different.
Yeah, he definitely is. I did not really think he'd have he like be this much like that good from Optic to this year, but obviously he wasn't doing what he did on LAT for
Yeah, I
Optic
was
last year.
I was thinking like he would, like have a very good year. Like I thought he was going to be the best player on the team for the most part. Like I thought he was going to have a good year, but I definitely didn't see him like absolutely popping off. Yeah, I mean if he had a 1.05 in the year, but if you sort that by major four qualifiers, major four tournament, and COD champs, he had a 1.1, which was
hmm
sixth. So in that major four qualifiers and tournament as well as champs, he moved all the way up to sixth. Um, if you just go by champs, what did he have at champs? He had a 1.09, which was eighth, behind basically all the superstars, Abuza and Envoy.
Yeah, jeez.
So yeah, I mean, just an unreal year for Ghosty. He certainly deserves A. And I mean, there's a world where if he keeps playing like this, he might work his way into S tier conversations at times. He was unreal down the stretch.
Yeah, agreed.
Brock, you and I have pretty strong opinions on this player. We've been in his camp for quite some time. I think he's going to go right in the middle of B tier, Joe Deceives.
Yep.
He's gonna go right in between Estriel and Tej. I think you can make an argument we put him above Tej. What do you? I'll let you decide. You want to put him
Let's put him
behind
above
Estriel and
G's.
Tej, in the middle? Okay, you want him above?
Above. Yep.
Joe was an excellent player. You and I have been on this train since we saw him playing for LAG. We were saying he's really good. He's just on a terrible team. He got picked up by LAT. People were roasting them, which I kind of forgot about that. I feel like we got vindicated by LAT finally showing up
hmm
at the end of the year because, like, I mean, we had more faith in Afro. We were wrong about that. But like, we were all on the Jodeci's pickup. We even said when they benched him for a bit in the beginning of the year that it was the wrong choice. We thought Afro should have been benched because we've been on the Jodeci's train for
Yep.
quite some time. And Joe is an excellent player. I think he will be a player that like consistently, as long as he's with even decent teammates, his teams will always find a way to just be like in that top six conversation with a chance to make like a run into Sunday.
Yep. He's
As long as he's
yep.
got good teammates, like he did at the end of this year, the team finally got some chemistry. But I feel like he's a player that's going to be looked at as like I think he can kind of fill like a kismet role.
hmm Yeah.
Like I don't think he's ever going to be like a superstar, but I think he can be a really good superstar enabler, like a good search and destroy player. And like I don't know, I feel like he can kind of hit that role of kismet where it's like he's so crucial to your team in some ways, but he's probably not going to be like the takeover superstar.
Yep. Agreed. And LAT, yeah, like you said, should never drop them
No,
in the
absolutely not.
first place. But at least didn't release him from the team.
Yeah, they thankfully were smart enough to not release him and to keep him on, and it ended up definitely working out for them.
Sure did.
Brock. Then we got that boy Kremp. Oh, I don't know. I'm actually torn on Kremp. I'm gonna defer the last two LAT players. I'm gonna defer to you because I think they both can go B or C.
Like Cramp, I think he is a B type player, but like he has too many stinkers.
Yeah, I
So
think he's either. I think he's either like bottom B or top C though. I think both these guys. I think if we put them in C, they're at the top. If they're in B, they're probably towards the bottom.
Yeah, I say C.
Think so?
Yeah,
I don't hate it. That's one like if you're in the comments like Krem should be B. I really am like okay. I'm not gonna argue with you there.
yeah.
I
He has
think.
it.
I mean, do you think Nasty's in the same spot, or do you put Nasty in the bottom of B?
I feel like Nasty was pretty. He was more consistently like good than he was bad.
I mean, they're like their year like team success wise is so hard to rank because like they were on it like online they were super good. At land they sucked except for champs.
Hmm.
I don't know. I feel like both of them could go bottom B. I'm gonna defer to you though. If you want them, if you want Kremp in C, I'm completely okay with it because I think if you tell me he's B, I'd be like, yeah, I agree with you. If you tell me C, I'm like, okay, yeah, I can agree with that. I'm not really strong opinion one way.
Let's go Cramp top of C for now, and Nasty the bottom of B.
Okay, I can get on board with that. I think they're interchangeable. Like I said, if you're down below in the comments, our boy Jake, big LAT fan. If you're hating us for putting Kremp in C, I can't argue with you. I think there's a world where all the LAT players are in B, and then obviously I think Ghosty is certainly in A.
Yeah, it just so weird to me that how he'll drop like 30 map one, and then map two he'll do okay. Then like map three he'll like drop like five in a control. That goes 5 rounds.
Yeah, the talent for Kremp is certainly there to be a B tier player and above. Like he certainly has. There's like some snappy moments. He has a lot of talent, but yeah, like you said, the consistency just wasn't there at enough points this year.
Yeah. Hmm.
Certainly a player with a lot of talent, though.
Definitely.
Another guy with a lot of talent that had an absolute stinker, Brock Asim. He's in D tier. I'm gonna put him like
Yep.
maybe at the bottom because it was really bad when he went into Vegas.
Yeah, he went to Vegas and they somehow didn't win a singular map.
It's unfortunate because once again, you and I both believe Asim on the right team can be a very good winning player. Asim is probably truly in the grand scheme of things when he's at his best self. He's probably like a middle of the pack B C player.
Yeah.
Very good, solid, can win with him, but it was rough for him this year.
It was, and we'll see if he gets on a team next year.
Brock, I think A's for attach.
Yep. Pretty
We
much good all
got
year.
good all year. What did he finish top five KD wise? Yeah, he was five with a 1.1. Just below really our four, well, maybe not selling him, but like our four, like three MVP candidates, I guess. Scrap, Simp, Hydra were definitely MVP candidates. They're up there. Cells always number one in KD, like no matter what.
Yep.
Um, Attach, obviously KD not everything, but Attach was really. I mean, there was points, especially like Major One, Major Two. He was frying, and he continued the whole year despite roster changes. Attach was always that guy. I'll put him in the bottom of A.
Yep.
Actually, I don't know. I kind of want to put him ahead of Gwyn. I don't know. I'm gonna do it. Let's move Gwyn down to the bottom and move Attach up below the FaZe boys and Ghosty.
All right.
And we got that boy Geo Brock.
Geo had a pretty
I
good
think he
year.
deserves. I think he deserves B tier.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I think I'm gonna put him ahead of everybody besides Joe.
I like it. I was either gonna say that, or you can even honestly put him ahead of Joe.
Like he had
Well,
some moments where he wasn't as good. I mean, he had a 1.06. He was 10th in KD for the year. I mean, he was cooking. There was
hmm
a lot. Like he had some moments where he struggled, like any young player, but there was moments where Gio was cooking. I think he's B tier player.
Yeah. Most times not when he was on, he was right there with Attach.
Yeah, 100%. Then we got Nero Brock. I have some pretty
A
strong opinions on this boy. Yeah.
A tier.
Hey, I'm putting him below same thing, below the FaZe boys and Ghosty, but I'm putting him above Attach. I think he was undoubtedly Vegas' best player this year. He was a better player than Attach this year. Attach was awesome.
Yep. So
Like,
underrated still. No one gives him his flowers.
dude, I saw people on like I was just like checking out Jake's video too, and I saw people saying that like having Attach and Nero in A tier was faded.
It's not faded at all.
I was like, I mean, sure, I guess if you're really heavily weighing team success, yes, but we're talking like individual, how they were individually as players, like skill ceiling and Attach and Nero were incredible. That's why, like, that stage to this day, I'm still so sad about that stretch that they had when they switched to ASIM and they like literally couldn't win a map and it
hmm
affected their seating and then it probably cost them their champ spot. Still to this day, that like makes me so sad because like I still feel like that team should have been at champs. Like I hate to say it, Brock, but over LAG, um, I think that team 100% deserved to be at champs because Geo was awesome this year. Nero was awesome. Attach was awesome. That trio was awesome. It's just like the fourth they couldn't find early enough. And I think Johnny was the right fourth. I think Johnny actually ended up being a really good player for them.
Mhm.
They just couldn't find the fourth in time. I'm honestly really hoping for Vegas' sake. I hope they keep that trio. I think Geo, Nero, and Attach could win. Like, I think that could be a top 16 with the right fourth.
Yeah.
And we'll see at the World Cup if it's fame. Maybe it is. I think that maybe there could be some free agents out there that could fit the team better. But like honestly, if I'm a sub player, cough cough Vivid. If I'm
Mhm.
Vivid, I am sprinting to this team in the offseason and begging them for a spot because
Uh-huh.
I think Vivid joining this team could be absolutely lethal. If I'm Tej and I'm a free agent, I am sprinting to this team. Uh, any other
Mhm.
like subs, like if the top four teams aren't hiring, I am going to this Vegas team because I think they have the best chance to be like a top, like fill in that like fifth spot or sixth spot. 'Cause, I mean, I think that those three are excellent players.
Yep.
But I got Nero and A, and that is like one of my strongest. Like, I will not concede to you that Nero deserves to be below A.
I am on board with that because we have kind of pretty similar opinions on Nero.
He was awesome this year. And then we got Johnny Brock. I think he's. I mean, where do you think Johnny is? I think he's in C. Just because,
Th-
like, he had some down moments, but he was a good player this year. Like, for the most part, when he filled in for Vegas, like, I thought he was pretty good.
Yeah, I would say C.
It's I think honestly though, I think I want to put him like I'll put him like right below Kremp
Okay.
towards the top of C.
Yeah, I'm down.
Then we got Purge Brock. Oh, what do you think? Like
It's
numbers wise,
just
he's certainly in the D tier, but you can make a case that like Vegas really struggled for a while after dropping him, so maybe he goes in the bottom of C.
yeah, we could do that. They literally like didn't win a map for like four series.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know. Is he top D, bottom C? I'll let you make the decision.
Let's go top D.
Okay. Once again, like he's a player like numbers don't tell the whole story because he certainly had an impact, but it's like it's also hard to like to use the excuse of numbers don't tell the whole story when he was just consistently having as bad a maps as he had.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a world where he's bottom C. All right, Brock, we're on to Heretics. Obviously, not ranking Eric Boom and Journey for this team, but
Vamos.
Lucky down the stretch, Lucky was awesome. He wasn't as good in the beginning. I feel like his year was split in two. Like, I feel like he was more of a C D player in the beginning, more of a B player in the middle. I want to put him in the bottom of B.
Yeah, I'm down.
He was really good down the stretch. He was like, especially in Search and Destroy, he was really good down the stretch.
Mm-hmm.
And we got Metals Brock.
Metals. Kind of like the same thing. He kind of struggled early with the sub, and then he switched to the AR and was doing
Well,
pretty good.
actually, remember like in Major One qualifiers, he was like frying with the sub. I think. Like,
Oh
I know it's so
yeah,
long ago to remember, but, like, I know what you're talking about. There was, like, a stretch there, he was horrible with the sub, but I think in, like I'm gonna sort here, Major 1 qualifiers. Yeah, Metals was 12th. He was tied with Dashy and Sib with a 1.07
oh yeah, that's right.
in the qualifiers, but then if you go to, Major 1 tournament, he had he still had 1.02 at the tournament. I guess he played better than I remember at the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
I think Metals finds himself in B because the middle of the year was, like, really rough for him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Because I mean, what's the difference here? Like, if you sort by Miami Heretics on the year, Metals at a 0.98, but like if you do like major 2 and 3 qualifiers in tournament, Metals had a 0.9, and if you sort by major 1 tournament qualifier and then major 4 tournament and qualifier and champs, he had a 1.05. That's insane.
that is.
So the middle two majors, 2 and 3, he had a 0.9 exactly, and then sorting by major 1, major 4, and champs, including the qualifiers online, he had a 1.05. He literally was like an A tier player and a D tier player, like at two different times. I
Yeah,
think he goes in B.
I like it.
I think we maybe put him like ahead of Nasty and Lucky in there, behind like Estriel, those guys.
Yeah, I like it.
'Cause, I mean, he had once again, he had stretches where he was like really bad and stretches where he was really good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, Brock, that boy Real. Another player that
Real.
like The high moments were high, the low moments were low.
Yeah,
I mean,
man.
on the year, what did he end up with on the year? It had to be like around a 1, right?
Had to be close to a one
Yeah,
or a one.
0.99, yeah. I don't know. I think he's either bottom B, top C. I'll defer to you.
Uh, I think we can do bottom B.
Okay. I'm going to put him all the way at the bottom then because I do think like his inconsistencies really like showed through, but there were also moments where like you could see by the eye test like when he would start to pop off it was like this dude he's good. Like there's some talent there.
Only if he could got his visa through with Carolina, him and Gwen.
Yeah. Him and Gwen could have been a nasty duo if everything would have, gone through.
Yep.
Brock, then we got Vickle. Um,
Beetle.
if we're talking, I mean, end of the year Vickle once again, he got a lot better as the year went on.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Vickle at a .97, he was 18th at champs. He was definitely a lot better as the year went on, but he's had some struggles early on. He went through the role change as well, going from like more of the flex AR into a sub role, switching with metals. I think I would say Vickle is the top player in C for me because of his late season stretch, but I could also see bottom B. I don't know.
Let's go C. I don't. Let's not put all the Miami Heretics in B.
Yeah. Although you can make a case for Vickle and B for sure. Like if you're arguing that, I'm not gonna hate on it.
Yeah. I think I
Uh,
like it where it's at right now.
Brock, we're about to go to war.
Oh.
C.
Oh, I see. S.
I wish I can't do it to him though. I can't. God, he was 60th in KD this year, Brock.
It's not last
40,
though.
just 48 active. He was only ahead of. He was tied with Cammy. Then he was ahead of Shawnee barely. Asim, Eric, Boom, and Goddard X. Do we have to put him in the top of D? I refuse. I mean, if you're watching this, this is kind of like more of a troll. Let's put him in the top of D, Brock.
Let's do it.
But if you're watching this, we're gonna reserve the top of D just for accuracy because I mean, if you're new to the show, Brock and I just have this complete bias for accuracy. I don't know why we both have just always loved Lamar. Um,
Yeah, for whatever reason that we do, we just do.
he just knows how to play, man. He's a coach in game. I don't know why we just have this. I want to put Lamar in A tier, just like piss people off. I obviously know he wasn't an A tier player this year, but I want to put him in A tier just to piss people off. But I think Lamar truly probably is a D tier player, but I refuse to put him any lower than the top of D because out of respect for my glorious King Lamar.
Agreed. He's just like you said, he's literally a coach for the players. Like he said, helped all these young players come up.
We get roasted every year because I think like people don't realize that we're just like fans of Lamar and like when he like somehow finds his way into a team again after having a bad year, we're like, "Yep, that team's going to be good." And like
Yep.
people are like, "What are you talking about? Lamar sucks." And then I think like people don't realize that we're like half trolling, but we also just like love Lamar, so we just put our blind faith and pray his team's going to be good.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Lamar's probably in D tier, but we love you, Lamar.
We sure do. He's
Um,
gonna win the World Cup now.
yeah, I think. I mean, dude,
That'd be
I,
wild.
I would be loving it if Lamar won the World Cup. That roster is something though.
Yeah.
Brock Gunless, I think he probably settles himself towards the bottom of C tier.
Yeah.
Uh,
Agreed.
Lens, I feel like we can throw Lens in the B tier.
Yeah, Linz was good enough to be B tier player.
I'll drop right after like metals, maybe.
Yeah, I like
Maybe
it.
right before metals. I don't know. I'll put him right before metals, in between metals and estrial. Lens was really
Yep.
good this year, though. He had, especially early year, he was really good. He definitely tailed off towards the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say, like, once again, we're talking like individual, eye test. I would say, like, when I watched Lens play, I definitely thought, like, this is a very good player. Get him on a better team and he'll really shine.
Yep.
Brock Awakening was D tier.
D tier. So weird
He's
still.
so weird, makes no sense. He was literally put in the perfect role. Like, he literally couldn't have been in a better role. He had a super, like, aggressive sub duo in front of him, an AR that would play all of his hills and, like, do all the dirty work. And he was just set up to just be a kill whore on this team, which that's not even like talking in a negative way. Like Awakening is really good at getting kills. Like
That was literally what they brought him here for, and couldn't do it.
and like I know like usually like the kill whore like thing, like if it's thrown around, it's like viewed as a negative, but we're not saying it in a negative way. Like that
Mhm.
is a skill set, and like especially for the makeup of certain teams, like being able to kill horror and just like get kills, like that is like a needed skill set for some teams. And Awakening is really good at it. That's not an insult.
Yep.
But for some reason this year, he just like when he was in the lineup, like he just wasn't like he usually the problem with him was be like people would say he would like kill her too much. But like,
Mhm.
I mean, what did he finish with this year? I mean,
They
he was
point
58th,
eight nine.
0.89.
0.89 on all other seasons of the CDL era. He had like 1.1.
Yeah, I mean, crazy. I still think the talent is there. Like, I think still you get him on the right team in the right game. Like, Awakening can be a player that can like put up numbers and give you a top 16. But dude, this year was rough for him. It was so weird. He's a good player.
Yep. And maybe like he didn't like the game as much.
Yeah,
Also factors
maybe,
in still
maybe.
playing
But they even had a
somewhat.
good like placement right away to start the year.
Yeah. I don't know. It just that's the weirdest thing to me.
Yeah, it is. It's very odd. Brock Standy. I mean, I think he's B C. I don't know. You want to put him bottom D, middle C? What do you want? I'll leave you in this one.
You can go middle C. He had 0.91 on the season. Look, I thought he had a better season than that.
Dude, there were so many stinker moments. I kind of want to put him in the top of D with Lamar. I don't know.
I'm fine with that too.
Okay, I'm putting him below Lamar, my glorious king. Vivid,
Probably A tier.
Vivid representing. He had a point nine. Dude, they got immediately worse. I don't care. Vivid, Brock. What is Vivid? That we know of the one player that represents us from
Yep.
Wisconsin. And honestly, the team got so much worse after him. And he like Vivid with a .92 is not surprising because if anybody knows Vivid and the pace he plays at, it's just a blistering pace. I'm putting him ahead of Lamar or these two. I'm putting Vivid a little bit up there because I like him enough.
Like it.
There's a little bias there, admittedly. Like we're always tweeting at Vivid and supporting him and stuff because he is the one CDL player that I know of that's
Mhm.
from Wisconsin. So we're always in support of Vivid. He's representing our home state, like really like the only COD pro that I really know of, like ever.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there are some others, but like he's like the one I know for sure. Reps us. He's always, he's tweeting about the Bucks and the Brewers, and we're not Packer fans, but he's tweeting about them. Um, Whenever we tweet at him, like repping Wisconsin, like we're supporting him. He's always dropping likes on the tweets, and we love Reese Vivid. Um, and I think when he was playing, he was also pretty good. He was really good with the AR when he had to pull out like a third AR.
Mhm.
We'll
Yeah.
throw him in the C tier. I hope he gets on a team next year because he deserves it. He is a unique player, and in a league that is starving for sub talent, he is way too good of a sub to not be on a team. Obviously, I know there were some outside factors. He like stepped away for personal reasons, so we obviously hope everything's okay with Vivid. But I think he's C tier.
Yep. I like it.
Next guy, Brock. That's the easy S.
S tier for Hydra.
Honestly, I might throw him above Simp.
He's so good.
Dude, Hydra's so good.
So,
I
so
think
good.
we throw Kiz in somewhere in the middle of B, right?
Yeah. He had his
He
struggles,
was
certainly.
really good in search. I mean, champs wise, I mean, he was one of the worst players at champs somehow.
Bro was laughing, and
He was
bro was
yeah,
laughing to a grand final.
yeah, he was just laughing every time they showed him. I mean, I think we all know, like you and I would both agree, Kismet usually like an A tier level player, but this year he was a little bit below his standard, especially at champs. He had
Mhm.
his struggles, but I fully trust Kismet to be back next year and shooting and playing for the win.
Yep.
Sib Brock, I think early season Sib wasn't as good, but as he started to find his spot in this team, I honestly there's a world that like we're at champs where you say like Sib is their best player at champs. He even outperformed Hydra at times, specifically
Mhm.
at champs. In the
He was
final, like
shooting.
if I know it was a tournament MVP, they probably would have given it to Hydra, but if you were talking just finals MVP, if New York was to win, it was Sib.
Yep, he was shooting.
Dude, some of the snaps he had, Sib is disgusting. I mean, I think he's easy. I mean, at champs, he had a 1.08. It was lower than Hydra, but that finals, dude. I mean, Sib
So
on the year
good.
was a 1.05. I think he's an A tier. I want to slot him in like between like Nero and Attach.
Yeah, I agree.
I think he's certainly A tier though. Obviously, beginning of the year wasn't as good for him, but dude, he at champs, forget about it. He was so good.
Mhm.
And down the stretch, even Major Four and stuff, like he continued to get better as he found himself more in his role.
Yeah, he found his groove and how the team wants to play.
Then Skies Brock. I
That's a
think B
B.
tier right by Kismet.
Yeah, that's a B tier player. Does the dirty work, which you need in some of these teams that have all these star players.
Does the dirty work. Really good player. Could put up better numbers if he was on a different team. Like if he was on a worse team, he would probably have better numbers. As weird as that sounds,
Yep.
because like he would probably play for kills a little bit more. Play more of a slaying role. But in this team, he doesn't have to. Sib and Hydra kind of do that, and Skies kind of picks up the hill, does the dirty work. Skies is a very good player. I just feel like he was just good this year. B tier.
Mhm. Yep.
Um, 04 Brock. This boy certainly has like the turned around a team argument,
He
and also
did.
had moments where he was like really popping off, but he had some big struggle moments. I feel like he's like bottom B, upper C. I'll defer to you on this one.
Let's go upper. I say I should go bottom B.
Okay.
Looking at these players, yeah.
I'll drop him like maybe in front of Real towards the bottom.
Yep.
Um, then we've got Abuza.
Put him in A.
Think so? Maybe towards the bottom of A.
Yeah.
Oh, I accidentally grabbed Arcitys. Oops.
Yeah, put RC's in
Not
A
an A.
too.
Not an A. I mean, Brock, it's the rookie of the year debate. I do think Gwyn deserved the rookie of the year because Abuza, they had such a down stretch, and he unfortunately got screwed by his team.
He sure
Um,
did.
running a sub. I think if Abuza ran an AR the whole year, he'd have been ahead of Gwyn. I think I'm gonna put Abuza just right in front of Gwyn. I don't have a problem if you have Gwyn in front of him, dude. Abuza, like just down the stretch, like his numbers are kind of flawed by like when he was running a damn sub.
Mhm.
Like if you sort by like major 3 in champs, what did Abuza have then? 1.03. Dude, he was shooting at champs though.
Against the reigning champions before Optic one.
Dude, I've watched a lot of Call of Duty players, as have you. His shot when he was shooting at champs, like there's a different like obviously all the pros can shoot straight. There's no question about that. Abuza's shot looks a little different. Like he looks like one of those guys that has like the shot.
Mhm.
Dude, he was behind only Pred at champs. He was ahead of Shotzzy and Hydra. We'll put him bottom of A.
Yeah.
You can if you make an argument for B, I won't say that's like crazy, but dude, I don't know. I think I test both of us were wowed by what we saw.
Yeah. Especially at that champs against New York in the first series. He tied him and Hydra tied for the most kills in a series
Yeah.
through 5
Brock,
matches.
Brock, your glorious kings at D tier. I'm sorry.
RCDs.
Arcitys, he's got to go in D tier.
He's gonna
It's
win the
bad we
World
played this
Cup.
year. Hey, Arcitys looked like he was coming with a vengeance. We know Arcitys is not a D tier player when he's at his best. We know he's a good player. As much as people like to hate on him, Arcitys is a good player. Just
Yep.
wasn't good this year. He's in D tier.
Agreed.
I think his replacement on Seattle, Prezi, I think he's somewhere in the middle of the pack at C.
He was pretty good, but like I don't know.
He was super inconsistent. I mean, he finished with what did he finish with in the year? He had to be like around like a point, like mid 0.9. He was 0.89, actually worse than I thought. I don't know though. He had like I guess that's true. He had some moments where he really struggled. I think he's like middle bottom C though.
Yeah, let's do
Still
it.
don't think he was D tier. I feel like he had better moments than like anybody we have in D tier. I feel like he was better than for sure.
Yeah.
That boy Kyler Brock, got to be the B or C range, right?
Yeah. I think it'd go B. Yeah, I had a worse year than I thought, actually.
I
Hold
don't know.
up.
Maybe we put him in the top of C.
Yeah.
I'll put him right up there in the mix in the top of C. He had moments where he was really good, but I mean, it's the classic Kyler story. I mean,
Mhm.
moments where he's awesome and looks like an A tier player, and moments where it's like, what are you doing, D tier?
Yep.
The classic Kyler story. That's the Kyler Hook experience past like AW, and he was just disgusting. It's been the same thing ever since. It's been like moments of just like razzle dazzle, like this dude is incredible, and moments of just like, dude, what are you doing?
Sure is, yep.
I'm towards top C. All right, Brock, we got two teams left, and they are a lot of good players ready to fill up those top areas. Kleenex, I
Mhm.
think he's pretty firmly in the category he belongs in.
A.
Yeah. We'll drop him right below the FaZe boys and Ghosty, I think. Right in the A tier, towards the middle of it.
Yep.
Envoy, I feel like goes towards the top of B. Like down the stretch, like Champs Envoy, he was moving at Champs. He was playing very well.
Mhm.
But we got to take the whole year into account. This is what we're doing. He had like a stretch in the middle of the year where he was abysmal. I feel like if you balance out the times when he was really good this year, like Major One, Champs, balance it out with the times he was bad, I feel like he deserves towards top of B.
Yeah, I like him.
Like
Like you
Insight
said,
belongs right next to him too.
yeah, he had like two majors of like very bad
Very
player.
bad. You think
Yeah, I
Insight
don't.
belongs right by him?
Yeah, yeah, I would say so.
Seemed like after Major One, Insight might be up there in the A and S tier. Insight was awesome in Major One. Then after that, he kind of just fell into more of an average player.
Hmm. Came down back to earth, you would say.
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, I like Kleenex in A, Envoy and Insight in towards top of B, and I think Scrap obviously goes in S. I might put him behind Hydra and Simp in S, but like, I mean, dude, Scrap was unreal this year. He's obviously in S. The order of the like, I think we're only gonna put one more player in S, but like the order of the players in S is kind of like, I don't know. Pick your poison. Like they're all so good.
Yeah.
You're obviously in agreement with Scrap and S, I would assume.
Oh yeah. 100%. Carried
Um,
his team for a large part of the year when the Envoy and so we're struggling.
yeah. Then Brock, I honestly think Optic is pretty damn easy. Might be like the easiest team to rank in my opinion. I think three of the players go in A and wherever, and then I think Shotzzy goes in S.
Yes, I agree.
I'm
We
gonna
could
throw
put
Dashy like I'll throw Dashy like somewhere in the middle. What were you gonna say?
so we could put Kenny and S and all these people that hate Kenny are gonna riot.
We'll throw him in A. I'll be respectable. I'm gonna throw like I'll throw Pred more towards top of A because Pred was really good, especially at champs.
Hmm.
I'm gonna throw Pred like the top of A. I'll put Shotzzy up there in S. Maybe I'll put Shotzzy in fourth just because I don't know. I feel like the other three were a little bit more consistent this year, but dude, Shotzzy was like I feel like Shotzzy flew under the radar because of Optic struggles, but dude, from like Major 3 when they won it and into Major 4, even when they were struggling, and Major or like champs, dude, Shotzzy was like unreal. There were like respawns where everybody else was struggling, and Shotzzy just refused to struggle. Like he was going off.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah, that leaves us with Pred, Kenny, Dashy all in A, and then Shotzzy up there in S.
agree. I like it.
I mean, for those of you that aren't on YouTube, if you're on Spotify or whatever, the video version most likely will be up on Spotify for you to see as well. But if you're not, come check it out on YouTube um, and look at the tier list. Maybe I'll like take a screenshot of it and tweet it out uh, or something like that. We'll see. But this is the tier list. Obviously, like you see a couple guys down below: Capsule, Cammy, Eric Boom, Journey, Pentagram, Major Maniac, and Illy. If you see those guys below, it's because they're the people that pretty much just played like one stage. Um, and were out or like some of the guys like everybody that was ranked played like at least like a stage and a half, two stages for the most part, unless maybe we accidentally included somebody, but I don't believe we did. Yeah, this is where we got it. Obviously, like I feel like the S tier is pretty like locked in. Like we like to be selective with our S tier. I mean, I think there's arguments for like the FaZe boys, Pred, maybe Ghosty to be up there.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think people are going to hate the most about this list? Like where we have somebody.
Uh, hmm, that's a great question.
I feel like Optic fans might hate that Pred's not an S, but I do think I don't know. They were the champs winners, so there's gonna be some bias there.
They
I
might
don't know.
not
I
look
dude,
as
based
a
on
bit.
Jake's video, they might hate like Gwyn, Abuza, Attach, and Nero in A.
I like it.
So do I.
I think some of the viewers might want some of them in S. See the BZ.
Salumin to BZ and S, you think?
Yeah,
I can see that.
or one of them. Yeah.
I don't know. It's whatever. It's just this stuff is all like there's no right answer. Like
Hmm.
it's just so subjective, and it's like, oh, you might like what you see from this player a little more than I do, and who knows? But I like this list overall. I think it's pretty good. Like I said, there are some players I think are interchangeable in terms of positions, but for the most part, I like it. Drop your comments down below. Let us know what you think of it. Um, Once again, dude, it's not that serious. It's just a player tier list of the players for this year. It's our thoughts on it. Of course, you guys are bound to disagree. It'd be weird if you guys agree with every single placement. Um, of players, just where we roughly think they are this year. Drop your comments down below. Who would you move around? Does your list look pretty similar? Um, I specifically want to hear like any of you guys that have anybody else in S. Who do you have? I'm assuming it's gonna be like one of the FaZe boys, Ghosty, one of the Optic boys, maybe Kleenex. Um, maybe Sid based on how good he was late game. I don't know. Who do you guys have in A? Who is your best rookie? I don't know. Drop some comments down below on the tier list. Tweet me a picture of your tier list, maybe. We appreciate it, Brocky. Anything else before I outro us?
I do actually have one more thing. I was just gonna say, I'm looking at this guy down here. His name is Major Maniac. Just shout out him for being so tippable.
Dude, he's just clutch.
He's wins in the moments.
Brock's like Major Maniac for Brock is one of those players that he just is auto gonna put an S even if he has a 0.5 because Brock just loves Major Maniac like I love Kenny.
He's just so tippable.
He's icy. He is icy for sure. He's always a guy that like if he's in a 1v3 round 11, like you can't turn away from your screen because he might win it.
Yep. That's all I have to say.
All right. If you guys enjoyed this one, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube. If you're on the audio platforms, drop a follow, drop a 5-star review. We love doing these tier lists. We appreciate all your support. As always, we will catch you guys in the next one. I think we'll be talking World Cup next episode, probably. We got some big things coming this offseason, some collabs, some things we're excited to get into. Did a little talking with some people at Champs and really, really, really excited for some of the stuff that's coming this offseason. So we appreciate all the support as always, and we will see you guys in the next one.